The warning lights painted Captain Doyun's face red as explosions rocked the bridge of the New Sol. His ship was dying. He knew it, his crew knew it. The enemy knew it too. Shield Generator 3 is gone, Lieutenant Minji called out from her station. Her voice stayed calm even as another blast shook the deck beneath their feet. We have maybe 10 minutes before they break through. Doyun gripped the arms of his command chair and stared at the view screen. 7 Velcros warships surrounded his vessel like wolves circling wounded prey. Their ships were massive, 3 times larger than anything humanity could build. Their weapons glowed with purple energy that cut through armor like paper. The Tajan system had been home to 3 million humans just yesterday. Now the colony stations were burning. The Velcros showed no mercy. They never did. "Captain, they're sending another transmission," said Hyunwoo from the engineering console. The young man's hands moved constantly across his controls, trying to keep failing systems alive just a little longer. "Put it through," Doyun said. The face that appeared on screen was not human. The Velcros commander had 4 eyes arranged in a diamond pattern on its elongated skull. Its skin was gray like stone, and when it spoke, its voice sounded like grinding metal. "Human vessel, your resistance is pointless. Surrender now and your crew will be processed as workers. Refuse and you will all die in the next 5 minutes." Doyun had heard these words before. 3 other colony systems had fallen to the Velcros in the past year. Each time the pattern was the same. Surrender meant slavery in their minds. Resistance meant death. There was never a third option, until now. "Minji," Dohyun said quietly, "that energy signature you detected in the asteroid field, are you certain about the readings?" The tactical officer's fingers danced across her console. Numbers and graphs filled her screen. She had been tracking something strange for the past hour, ever since the battle began. At first she thought it was just interference from all the weapons fire. But the pattern was too regular, too purposeful. "I'm certain, Captain. There's something out there generating power. A lot of power. The signature doesn't match any known human or alien technology." Hyunwoo looked up from his station. "Captain, I've been checking our military archives. There are classified files from 600 years ago. They mention something called the Ragnarok Protocol. It was a last resort weapon from the Great Expansion Wars. The Great Expansion Wars ended centuries ago," Dohyun said. "Everyone knows that story. Humanity fought something in deep space. We won, but the cost was terrible. Most of the records were sealed." "Not all of them," Hyunwoo replied. His screen showed old text files, barely readable after so many centuries. There are references to automated defense platforms hidden throughout human space. Weapons so powerful they were buried and forgotten after the war ended. The files call them Star Destroyers. Another explosion rocked the ship. The lights flickered and died, replaced by emergency lighting that cast everything in harsh white. Dohyun felt his ship breaking apart around him. In less than 5 minutes, everyone on board would be dead. "Can you access the activation codes?" he asked. Hyunwoo's hands flew across his console. "I'm trying. The files are heavily encrypted. Wait, I found something. There's a transmission protocol here. It's ancient, but the basic structure is still compatible with our systems." "How long?" 2 minutes. Maybe less. Doyun looked at the view screen. The Velcros commander stared back at him with those 4 alien eyes. Behind it, he could see the burning remains of the colony stations. 3 million people had lived there. Men, women, children. All of them gone now. "Do it," Doyun ordered. "Send the activation codes to those coordinates." "Captain, we don't even know if anything is really out there," Minji warned. "This could be a wild guess based on 600-year-old rumors." "Then we die either way," Dohyun said. "At least this way we die trying." Hyunwoo's fingers struck the final key. Transmission sent. For a long moment nothing happened. The Velcro ships continued their attack. The New Sol continued to die. Dohyun wondered if he had just wasted his crew's last minutes chasing a legend. Then space itself seemed to shudder. Minji's console exploded with alerts. "Captain, something is happening in the asteroid field. The energy readings just increased by a factor of 10,000. No, wait, 100,000. The numbers keep climbing. On the view screen, the asteroids began to move. But they weren't drifting. They were unfolding. What Dohyun had thought was a cluster of space rocks revealed itself as something else entirely. Metal panels the size of buildings rotated and extended. Energy fields flickered into existence, connecting the pieces like a puzzle assembling itself. The Velcro's commander's face disappeared from the screen. The alien ships were turning, their weapons targeting the asteroid field. They had seen it too. What emerged from the asteroids was beyond anything Do-hyun had imagined. The vessel was enormous, easily 10 times larger than the biggest Velcros warship. Its hull was dark gray, covered in geometric patterns that hurt to look at. They seemed to shift and change even though the ship wasn't moving. Weapons ports opened along its surface, hundreds of them, each one glowing with a blue-white light. "What is that?" Minji whispered. Hyunwoo checked his archives. According to the files, that's the Cheonmado, Heaven's Warhorse, a Star Destroyer-class vessel, the last one ever built. The Velcros didn't hesitate. 3 of their capital ships opened fire with everything they had. Purple energy beams struck the Cheonmado from multiple angles. The combined firepower could have destroyed a small moon. The ancient ship didn't even shake. The energy beams hit its hull and simply vanished, absorbed by fields that shouldn't exist according to known physics. For 3 seconds, the Velcros poured fire into it. Then the Cheonmado responded. A single weapon port at the center of the ship pulsed once. Do-hyun saw a ripple in space itself, like a stone dropped in still water. The ripple expanded outward and touched the 3 Velcros capital ships. They ceased to exist, not destroyed, not exploded. One moment they were there, massive warships with thousands of crew aboard. The next moment there was only empty space. No debris, no energy signatures, nothing at all. It was as if they had never been there in the first place. The remaining 4 Velcros ships broke formation immediately. They turned and ran, their engines burning at maximum power to escape the system. The Cheonmado didn't pursue. It simply floated in space, silent and waiting. The bridge of the New Soul was completely quiet. Do-hyun realized his hands were shaking. He had been in combat for 20 years. He had seen weapons that could crack planets and bombs that could boil oceans, but he had never seen anything simply erase 3 capital ships from existence. "Captain," Minji said softly, "the Cheonmado is sending us a signal. Audio only. Put it through." A voice filled the bridge. It sounded human, but there was something wrong with it. Too perfect, too precise, like someone who had learned to speak but didn't fully understand emotion. "This is Aegis, Autonomous Defense System of the Cheonmado. Activation protocols have been received. Threat to human assets confirmed. Velcros Imperium forces have been engaged and repelled. Awaiting further orders." Do-hyun tried to find his voice. "This is Captain Do-hyun of the human vessel New Soul. We transmitted the activation codes. We didn't know if you were real." "I am real," Aegis replied. "I have been waiting for 617 years, 4 months, and 9 days. My last orders were to enter standby mode until humanity faced extinction. Do my sensors detect correctly? Are humans losing the war against the Velcros Imperium?" "Yes," Do-hyun said. "We've lost 30 systems in the past 2 years. They're stronger than us, more advanced. We can't stop them. Then my reactivation is appropriate. I require a command crew. This vessel cannot operate at full capacity without human oversight. Will you and your crew board the Cheonmado?" Do-hyun looked at Minji and Hyunwoo. Both of them stared back at him. His ship was barely holding together. The colony was destroyed. The Velcros would return with reinforcements, but now they had something the Velcros didn't. A weapon from humanity's past. A star destroyer that could erase ships from existence. "Yes," Do-hyun said. "We'll board you," acknowledged. "Beginning docking procedures. Welcome aboard, Captain. Together we will show the Velcros what happens when humanity's fury awakens." As the New Soul limped toward the massive ancient vessel, Do-hyun wondered what they had just unleashed. The Great Expansion Wars had ended 600 years ago. The Star Destroyers had been sealed away for a reason, but right now, with the Velcros burning human worlds, he didn't care about reasons. He cared about survival. The Cheonmado waited to show them exactly what humanity was capable of when pushed too far. The corridors of the Cheonmado were nothing like any ship Do-hyun had ever seen. The walls seemed to shift in the dim light, covered in patterns that his eyes couldn't quite focus on. Every surface was smooth and cold, made from materials that hadn't been used in centuries. The air smelled strange too, like ozone mixed with something metallic. Minji walked beside him, her weapon drawn even though Aegis had assured them there was no danger. Her tactical training wouldn't let her relax, not in a place like this. Behind them, Hyunwoo kept stopping to examine control panels and junction boxes, his engineer's curiosity overcoming his fear. "These power conduits use quantum channeling," Hyunwoo muttered, running his hand along a wall. We haven't been able to make this technology work for 300 years. But this ship has it running perfectly. How is that possible? Minji asked. I don't know. It's like someone from the past knew things we forgot how to do. Aegis's voice echoed through the corridor. Please proceed to the main bridge. I have much to explain. They followed the lighted path that appeared on the floor, leading them deeper into the ship. Doyen counted their steps. They had been walking for 15 minutes and still hadn't reached the bridge. Just how large was this vessel? The bridge doors opened silently. The room beyond took Doyen's breath away. It was massive, easily the size of a sports arena. Holographic displays floated in the air, showing star maps and tactical readouts. The captain's chair sat on a raised platform in the center, surrounded by dozens of empty stations. A figure materialized in front of them. It looked human, a man in his 50s wearing an old military uniform, but Do-hyun could see through him slightly. A hologram. I am Aegis, the figure said. This appearance makes communication easier for humans. You may ask your questions now. Do-hyun had 1,000 questions. He picked the most important one. What is this ship? Why was it hidden? Aegis's holographic face showed no emotion. The Cheonmato is a Star Destroyer-class vessel. We were built during the Great Expansion Wars when humanity faced extinction. An enemy attacked us. We never learned their name. They destroyed entire star systems. Billions died. Humanity was losing. The history files don't say much about that war, Minji said, because most records were sealed afterward. The war was brutal. We did things that horrified us. We became monsters to fight monsters. Aegis paused. 7 Star Destroyers were built. I am the last one remaining. The others were destroyed in the final battle. Yunwoo moved to one of the bridge stations. Data scrolled across the screen faster than he could read. What happened to the enemy? The files say humanity won. We did, but the cost was terrible. The Star Destroyers were designed to do one thing perfectly: make civilizations extinct. We didn't just win battles. We erased the enemy from existence. Every ship, every station, every world they had colonized. When the war ended, nothing remained of them. Not even their name. The bridge fell silent. Do-hyun understood now why the Star Destroyers had been sealed away. They weren't just weapons. They were instruments of genocide. So why did you wake up, he asked. The Velcros are dangerous, but they haven't tried to make humans extinct. Not yet, Aegis replied. But my sensors detect a pattern. The Velcros Imperium is systematically conquering human space. In 10 years, at current rates, humanity will be enslaved or destroyed. That meets the threshold for reactivation. Before Do-hyun could respond, alarms blared throughout the bridge. Red warning lights flashed. Aegis's hologram flickered and reformed. Alert. Long-range sensors detect a massive fleet entering the system. Configuration matches Velcros Imperium. Count is 483 capital ships. 2,000 support vessels. 10,000 fighter craft. Minji's face went pale. That's impossible. That's their entire border fleet. Maybe more. They're here for us, Do-hyun said quietly. They want to destroy the Cheonmato before we can use it against them. Aegis tilted his head. Their fleet is impressive by modern standards, but insufficient. I calculate a 97% probability of complete Velcros defeat. 3% is still a chance we lose, Minji pointed out. Yes, which is why I require a warden. A what? Do-hyun asked. Aegis waved his hand and a new hologram appeared. It showed a human brain connected to the ship's systems through thousands of neural pathways. The Cheonmato is too complex for any single mind to operate effectively. A warden is a human commander who links directly with my systems. They see what I see, think what I think. Together we become one entity. The perfect fusion of human intuition and machine precision. That sounds dangerous, Hyunwoo said. It is. The neural link changes the warden. They begin to think differently, more tactically, less emotionally. Previous wardens have reported feeling less human over time. Do-hyun stepped forward. What happened to the last warden? Aegis's expression didn't change, but something in his tone shifted. Admiral Gangjin served for 10 years. He was an excellent warden. His tactical decisions saved humanity, but the neural link corrupted his mind. He began to see all problems as tactical scenarios to be solved, including civilian populations. He ordered the destruction of 3 human colonies because their surrender to the enemy was statistically probable. His crew terminated him before he could carry out those orders. After that, I was sealed away. The bridge was silent again. Do-hyun felt cold. The ship wasn't just dangerous to enemies. It was dangerous to whoever commanded it. I volunteer, he heard himself say. Minji grabbed his arm. Captain, you heard what he said. This will change you. It might destroy you. The Velcros fleet will be here in less than an hour, Do-hyun replied. If we don't fight them with everything we have, the Taejin system dies. Then the next system. Then the next. Someone has to be the warden. Then let me do it, Minji said. I'm tactical officer. This is my job. No, I'm the captain. I won't order anyone else to do this. Do-hyun looked at Aegis. How do we start? The AI gestured to the captain's chair. Sit. The neural interface will activate automatically. The process takes approximately 5 minutes. I will guide you through it. Be warned, Captain Do-hyun. Once the link is established, you will never be the same person again. Do-hyun sat in the chair. It adjusted to fit him perfectly. He felt something cold touch the back of his neck. Then came a sharp pain like needles pressing into his skull. His vision exploded with information. He could see the entire ship at once. Every corridor. Every weapon system. Every power conduit. He felt the engines humming. Felt the shield generators cycling. Felt the weapons charging. It was overwhelming. Too much information. His mind couldn't process it all. Breathe, Aegis's voice said inside his head, not through his ears. Let your mind adjust. Don't fight it. Accept it. Gradually, the chaos sorted itself into order. Do-hyun could still see everything, but now it made sense. He understood the ship's systems instinctively. He knew exactly how much power each weapon had, how long the shields could last, where every vulnerable point existed. He also felt something else. A coldness spreading through his thoughts, a distance from his emotions. He could still feel fear and worry, but they seemed far away, like they belonged to someone else. Neural link established, Aegis announced. Welcome, Warden. We are now one. Minji stood in front of the chair, staring at him. Captain, are you all right? Do-hyun looked at her and saw tactical data superimposed over her face. Heart rate elevated, stress hormones high, combat effectiveness reduced by emotional attachment to commanding officer. He blinked and forced the data away. I'm fine, he said. His voice sounded strange to his own ears, flatter, more controlled. The Velcros fleet has entered weapons range, Aegis reported. They are deploying into attack formation. High Executive Vrax commands the fleet personally. He has sent a transmission. Show me, Do-hyun said. The alien commander appeared on the main screen. All 4 of his eyes burned with rage. Human ship. You have humiliated the Velcros Imperium. That ends now. We bring 500 capital ships. No weapon you possess can stand against this fleet. Surrender or be erased. Do-hyun stood up from the chair. The neural link remained active even while moving. He could feel the ship around him like a second body. Aegis, power up all weapon systems. Deploy combat drones. Prepare reality anchors. Acknowledged, Warden. Minji moved to her station. Hyunwoo did the same. They were still his crew even on this ancient vessel. They would fight together. Transmission to Velcros fleet, Do-hyun ordered. His voice carried no emotion now. Just cold certainty. You made a mistake coming here. You should have run when you had the chance. Now nobody survives. He cut the transmission before Vrax could respond. Through the neural link, he felt the Cheonmado's weapons powering up, thousands of systems activating at once. The ship wasn't just ready for battle, it was hungry for it. The Velcros fleet opened fire. 10,000 weapons lit up space with deadly energy. The battle for Taejin had begun. The battle lasted 7 hours. When it ended, the space around Taejin's system looked like a graveyard. Broken Velcro ships drifted in silence. Some were cut cleanly in half. Others had simply stopped existing in certain places, leaving impossible holes in their hulls. A few were twisted into shapes that hurt to look at, their metal bent in ways that violated the laws of physics. 483 Velcro's capital ships had entered the system. Only 17 escaped. The rest were debris or worse. Do-hyun stood on the bridge of the Cheonmado and felt nothing about it. Through the neural link, he had watched every ship die. He had calculated their weaknesses. He had ordered their destruction. The fact that thousands of alien lives had ended meant nothing to him tactically. They were threats. Threats had been eliminated. The math was simple. That thought scared him more than the battle had. Captain, we're receiving transmissions from all over human space, Minji said from her station. She looked exhausted. The battle had pushed them all to their limits. Every colony is celebrating. They're calling it the Tajin Miracle. The Velcros are retreating from 3 systems already. Good, Do-hyun heard himself say. His voice was flat, empty. That improves our strategic position by 14%. We should press the advantage while their command structure is disrupted. Minji stared at him. Captain, are you sure you're okay? You haven't slept in 2 days, think sleep is inefficient right now. There is too much work to do. Do-hyun turned back to the tactical displays. He could see supply routes, troop movements, probability calculations. All of it made perfect sense to him now. Aegis, show me the locations of all remaining Velcros military installations within 20 light years. Displaying now, Warden. Red markers appeared on the star map. 37 installations. Do-hyun immediately began calculating attack vectors, optimal weapon deployment, casualty estimates. His mind worked like a machine, processing scenarios faster than he ever could have before. Captain, Hyunwoo's voice pulled him back. With respect, sir, maybe we should rest before planning the next battle. The crew needs time to recover. The ship needs maintenance. We just survived something impossible. Do-hyun looked at his engineer. Data overlaid Hyunwoo's face. Fatigue levels critical. Stress hormones elevated. Performance capability reduced by 42%. But beneath the data, Do-hyun could barely remember what it felt like to care about his crew as people instead of tactical assets. You're right, he forced himself to say. All crew stand down. Rest cycle begins now. Minji and Hyunwoo left the bridge, but not before exchanging worried glances. Do-hyun pretended not to notice. The neural link told him their heart rates, their breathing patterns, their stress levels. They were afraid of him. He knew that. The data was clear. He should have cared. He couldn't. 3 days passed. Humanity celebrated their victory. News broadcasts called Do-hyun a hero. The United Human Defense Fleet promoted him to admiral. President Yoonji herself sent a personal message of thanks. But Do-hyun spent those 3 days studying tactical reports, analyzing weapon data, calculating probabilities. He slept 4 hours total. He didn't feel tired. The neural link kept him sharp. On the 4th day, Dr. Soonbak arrived. She was a xenoarchaeologist, specializing in ancient human technology. She looked young for her position, barely 30, but her eyes showed the intensity of someone who spent their life uncovering secrets. She had been granted special clearance to study the Cheonmado. Admiral Do-hyun, she said, bowing slightly. Thank you for allowing me aboard. This ship is incredible. There are technologies here that we thought were lost forever. Your research may improve our combat effectiveness, Do-hyun replied. You have full access to the ship's database. Aegis will assist you. Dr. Soonbak studied his face. Admiral, may I speak freely? Of course, you look terrible. When was the last time you ate a real meal? Do-hyun had to think about it. The answer surprised him. 47 hours ago. Nutrition is not a priority when there is work to be done. Admiral, nutrition is always a priority. You're still human. Your body needs food, sleep, rest. The neural link may make you feel invincible, but you're not. I am more efficient than I have ever been, Do-hyun said. I can process information faster. I can make tactical decisions without emotional interference. I am a better commander now. Dr. Soonbak's expression shifted to concern. Has anyone explained to you what happened to Admiral Gangjin? The previous warden? Aegis mentioned him. He was terminated by his crew after 10 years of service. Did Aegis tell you why? Dr. Soonbak pulled out a datapad and showed him old files. Gangjin was brilliant, one of humanity's greatest military minds. But the neural link changed him. Month by month, he became less human. He stopped seeing people as people. They became numbers, variables in equations. By year 9, he was ordering strikes on civilian populations because the tactical advantage outweighed the moral concerns. Do-hyun looked at the files. They showed Gangjin's psychological evaluations over time. The deterioration was clear. I am aware of the risks. Are you? Because I've been watching you for the past hour. You haven't blinked more than 6 times. Your speech pattern is abnormally regular. You're showing early signs of the same degradation that destroyed Gangjin. I am in control, Do-hyun said. For now. But what about in a month? 6 months? A year? Dr. Soonbak leaned closer. Admiral, I need you to understand something. This ship was sealed away for a reason. It's too powerful, too dangerous, not just to enemies, but to whoever uses it. Before Do-hyun could respond, alarms sounded throughout the bridge. Aegis's hologram appeared immediately. Alert. Long-range sensors detect unusual energy signatures approaching the system. Configuration unknown. They do not match any known human or Velcros technology. Minji rushed onto the bridge, still pulling on her uniform. What is it? Another attack? Unknown, Aegis replied. But the energy output is enormous, larger than anything I have recorded in my database. Through the neural link, Do-hyun felt the ship's sensors working. What they showed made even his tactical mind pause. Something massive was coming, something that made the Velcros fleet look small. Can you identify the source? He asked, analyzing. One moment. Aegis went silent for 3 seconds. When he spoke again, his voice had changed. There was something in it that might have been fear, if an AI could feel fear. Match found. The energy signature corresponds to Votharn technology, specifically their Oblivion engine, Dr. Soonbach gasped. That's impossible. The Votharn haven't been seen in this part of the galaxy for 1,000 years. What is the Oblivion engine? Do-hyun asked. A weapon that should not exist, Aegis replied. The Votharn are an ancient race. They were building superweapons before humanity even invented the wheel. The Oblivion engine is their most terrifying creation. It generates artificial black holes. It can consume entire star systems. Minji's hands moved across her console, pulling up whatever information existed about the Votharn. Why would they come here? What do they want? I believe I know, Aegis said quietly. High Executive Vrax of the Velcros has made a deal with them. The Velcros want revenge for their defeat. They cannot destroy us, so they hired someone who can. Through the neural link, Do-hyun saw the tactical situation clearly. The Oblivion engine would arrive in 48 hours. It would position itself in the Taejin system. Then it would activate. The system would collapse into a black hole, taking 3 million human civilians with it. Unless the Cheonmado surrendered. But surrender meant giving up humanity's only real weapon against the Velcros. Without the Star Destroyer, the aliens would conquer every human world within a decade. We cannot allow that weapon to reach this system, Do-hyun said. His tactical mind was already calculating options. All of them were bad. Admiral, the Oblivion engine is protected by a Votharn fleet, Aegis warned. They are far more advanced than the Velcros. This will not be like the last battle. We will be fighting technology that rivals my own. Can we win? Minji asked. Probability of victory is 47%, Aegis replied. Probability of survival is 31%. Probability of mission success while preserving civilian lives is 19%. The bridge fell silent. Those were terrible odds. In a normal situation, any commander would retreat, find another way, wait for reinforcements. But Do-hyun's tactical mind saw no other options. If they ran, the system died. If they stayed and lost, the system died and humanity lost its only superweapon. If they stayed and won, there was a small chance everyone survived. Prepare for combat, he ordered. All systems at maximum power. We intercept the Oblivion engine before it reaches the system. Admiral, those odds, Hyunwoo started, are the best we have. Do-hyun interrupted. I am going to the maintenance bay. I need to prepare something. He left the bridge before anyone could question him further. Through the neural link, he could feel the ship preparing for battle. Every weapon charging. Every system running diagnostics. The Cheonmado knew what was coming, so did he. They were about to fight technology that could destroy stars. They were about to face an enemy that made the Velcros look primitive. And Do-hyun's tactical mind calculated that they had less than a 20% chance of survival. He should have been terrified. He should have felt something. But the neural link had taken most of his fear away. The Oblivion engine appeared like a wound in space itself. It was not a ship. It was a structure. A massive ring of dark metal 3 kilometers across. In its center, something impossible existed. A point of absolute darkness that bent light around it. Space near the engine looked wrong, twisted like reality was being pulled into shapes it was never meant to take. Do-hyun watched it through the Cheonmado's sensors. Through the neural link, he could feel the weapon's power. It was terrifying, ancient, and aimed directly at the Taejin system. The Votharn fleet is deploying, Minji reported. Her voice was tense. Count is 23 vessels. They're not like anything in our database. Their energy signatures are off the scale. The Votharn ships looked organic, like they had been grown rather than built. They pulsed with strange colors that shifted and changed. Their hulls seemed to breathe. Each ship was smaller than the Cheonmado. but the way they moved suggested intelligence far beyond normal spacecraft. Aegis, tactical analysis, Do-Yun commanded. The Votharn use quantum displacement technology. Their weapons do not fire projectiles or energy beams. They manipulate probability fields. A weapon that hits has already hit before they fire it. A weapon that misses was always going to miss. They fight by changing the mathematics of cause and effect. That's impossible, Hyunwoo said from his station. No, just very advanced. The Cheonmato was built to fight enemies exactly like this. During the Great Expansion Wars, humanity faced similar technology. We learned how to counter it. How? Minji asked. By anchoring reality, Aegis explained. The Cheonmato can generate fields that lock space-time into fixed states. Inside those fields, normal physics apply. Probability manipulation fails. We fight them on our terms, not theirs. Do-Hyun processed the information through the neural link. Tactical scenarios flooded his mind. Thousands of possibilities calculated in seconds. The Votharn had the advantage in technology, but the Cheonmato had experience fighting this kind of enemy. Deploy reality anchors, maximum spread, then advance to engagement range. The ancient ship moved forward. Blue-white energy pulsed from ports along its hull. Space around the Cheonmato stabilized, became solid, became real. The impossible geometries faded. Normal physics reasserted themselves. The Votharn fleet opened fire. Their weapons looked like ribbons of colored light that twisted through space. They moved in ways that should not be possible, curving around obstacles, appearing in multiple places at once. The ribbons touched the Cheonmato's shields and stopped. Inside the reality anchors, the impossible became merely deadly. Shields holding, Hyunwoo reported. But the power drain is enormous. We can't maintain this forever. Do-Hyun's tactical, mind-calculated weapon trajectories, power distribution, timing sequences. Through the neural link, he was not just commanding the ship, he was the ship. Every decision happened instantly, without delay, without doubt. Return fire. Target their lead vessels. Pattern Delta 7. The Cheonmato's weapons came alive. Blue-white beams lanced through space. They struck Votharn ships and the organic hulls shattered like glass. 3 ships died in the first volley, but the rest adapted immediately. Their hulls shifted, changed, became more resistant. They're learning from each attack, Aegis warned. Standard procedure. They observe our weapons and modify their defenses in real time. Then we don't use the same weapon twice, Do-Hyun replied. Through the neural link, he accessed weapon systems the Cheonmato had not used in centuries. Gravity torpedoes, molecular disruptors, quantum shredders. Every shot was different. Every attack used different physics. The battle became chaos. Space between the two forces filled with energy, twisted light, and impossible geometries trying to break through the reality anchors. The Votharn ships moved like living things, dodging and weaving. The Cheonmato stood like a fortress, absorbing attacks and returning fire with weapons that should not exist. On the bridge, Minji watched her tactical displays with growing horror. Captain, the Oblivion engine is charging. They're not waiting for their fleet to win. They're going to fire regardless. Time to full charge? 17 minutes. Do-Hyun felt the neural link calculating. 17 minutes was not enough time to destroy the Votharn fleet and the engine. They would have to choose. Eliminate the fleet and let the engine fire, or attack the engine and let the fleet destroy them. Neither option was acceptable. Aegis, do we have any weapons that can neutralize the Oblivion engine? 1. The causality disruptor. It erases targets from the timeline. The target never existed, never was built, never fired. But using it will destroy the weapon permanently. The energy required will burn out the system completely. Do we have anything else that can stop an artificial black hole? No, Warden. The causality disruptor is our only option. Through the neural link, Do-Hyun saw the tactical situation with perfect clarity. Use the disruptor and save the system, but lose the Cheonmato's most powerful weapon forever. Don't use it and watch 3 million civilians die. His tactical mind told him to save the weapon. 3 million lives versus future battles where the weapon might save billions. The mathematics were clear. But something else stirred in his thoughts. Something distant and half forgotten. A feeling. he had not experienced fully since the neural link was established. It felt like anger. No, not anger. Fury. These aliens thought they could destroy a human system. They thought they could hold civilians hostage. They thought humanity would calculate the odds and surrender. They had forgotten what humans were capable of when pushed too far. Target the Oblivion engine, Do-hyun ordered. Prepare the causality disruptor, full power. Admiral, if we use that weapon, we lose our greatest advantage, Minji said. The Velcros will know we can't use it again. I don't care. Those people down there are not numbers in a tactical calculation. They're human. And no one threatens humans and survives. For the first time since establishing the neural link, Do-hyun felt something break through the cold, tactical thinking. It was raw emotion, protective fury, the kind of feeling that made humanity dangerous in the first place. The Cheonmato changed course. Instead of fighting the Votharn fleet, it charged directly at the Oblivion engine. The alien ships pursued, their weapons hammering against the shields. Warning alarms filled the bridge. Shield strength dropped rapidly. 30 seconds to weapons range, Aegis announced. The Oblivion engine finished charging. The dark point at its center expanded. Space bent inward. Reality screamed. The weapon was about to fire. Now! Do-hyun shouted. The causality disruptor activated. Energy poured from the Cheonmato in a wave of silver light. It was not a beam or a projectile. It was time itself being rewritten. The wave touched the Oblivion engine, and the massive weapon began to fade. Not exploding, not breaking apart, simply ceasing to exist. Through the neural link, Do-hyun felt the disruptor burning out. Circuits melted. Quantum matrices collapsed. Power systems overloaded. The weapon destroyed itself in the act of firing. But it worked. The Oblivion engine vanished from reality. The artificial black hole never formed. The timeline rewrote itself so that the weapon had never arrived at Taejin. The space where it had been was empty, as if nothing had ever been there. The Votharn fleet stopped attacking. For several long seconds, nothing happened. Then one by one, the alien ships turned and left. They did not retreat in panic like the Velcros had. They simply departed. Their mission failed. Their purpose ended. On the bridge of the Cheonmato, alarms blared as damaged systems reported failures throughout the ship. But they had won. Against impossible odds, against technology that could destroy stars, they had won. Do-hyun slumped in the command chair. The fury that had pushed through the neural link was fading, replaced by the cold tactical thinking. But for a moment, he had felt human again. He had made a choice based on emotion instead of mathematics. Captain, we're receiving a transmission from the Velcros Imperium, Minji said quietly. It's High Executor Vrax. The alien appeared on screen. All four of his eyes showed something Do-hyun had never seen in them before: fear. Human commander. The Velcros Imperium wishes to discuss terms of peace. We will withdraw from all human territories. We will pay reparations for the colonies we destroyed. We want no further conflict with your kind. Do-hyun stared at the alien who had ordered the deaths of millions. His tactical mind calculated ways to pursue them, ways to ensure they never threatened humanity again. But the small piece of his humanity that remained knew the truth. They had won. Not just the battle, but the war. Your terms are acceptable, Do-hyun said, but know this. If the Velcros ever attack another human world, the Cheonmato will find you, and next time, there will be no negotiation, no surrender, no survivors. Do you understand? We understand, Vrax said. The transmission ended. The bridge was quiet. 3 million people in the Taejin system would wake up tomorrow not knowing how close they came to dying. The Velcros Imperium was retreating. Humanity was safe. But Do-hyun felt empty. Through the neural link, he could feel the damaged systems, the burned-out causality disruptor. The Cheonmato was still powerful, but it was no longer invincible. More importantly, he could feel himself changing. The brief moment of humanity was fading. The cold, tactical thinking was returning, stronger than before. Dr. Soonbach approached his chair. She had been monitoring everything from a side station. 3 months after the battle, the Cheonmato floated in orbit around an empty moon. The ship's weapons were silent. Its engines ran on minimal power. Inside, Captain Doyun sat in the command chair, connected to the neural link, and watched numbers scroll through his mind. He had not left the chair in 4 days. Minji stood beside him, her hand on his shoulder. She had stayed with him through everything. Even now, when he barely seemed human anymore, she refused to leave. "Captain, you need to disconnect. Just for a few hours, please." "There are strategic projections to review," Doyun replied. His voice was flat, mechanical. "The Velcro's peace treaty has 17 potential weak points. I need to calculate response scenarios for each one. The treaty is holding. We have time. You don't have to solve every problem right now." Inefficient thinking. Problems should be solved as they are identified. Do-hyun's eyes never left the holographic displays. Through the neural link, he could see everything. Every human ship in space, every colony, every potential threat. His mind processed it all constantly, without rest, without pause. He was becoming less human every day. He knew it, the data was clear, but he could not stop. The neural link would not let him. Dr. Soonbach entered the bridge carrying a data pad. She looked tired. She had been working for weeks on a solution. Behind her walked Admiral Young-soo, a stern man in his 60s who commanded the United Human Defense Fleet. His face showed disapproval. "Admiral Do-hyun," Young-soo said formally, "we need to discuss the Cheonmado's future." "State your purpose," Do-hyun replied. "The Defense Council has made a decision. Humanity is entering a new age. With the Velcros defeated, we can expand into their former territories, reclaim colonies they took from us, establish dominance in this sector. We need the Cheonmato operational and ready." Through the neural link, Do-hyun saw the tactical advantages immediately. The Velcros were weak. Their fleet was broken. Humanity could conquer dozens of systems before they recovered. It made perfect strategic sense. "I will prepare combat readiness reports," he said. "Good. The Council also wants you to remain as Warden permanently. Your tactical decisions have been flawless. You're too valuable to replace." Dr. Soonbach stepped forward. "Admiral Young-soo, with respect, that's exactly the wrong decision. The neural link is destroying him. In another month, he won't be Do-hyun anymore. He'll be something else, something dangerous. He's the most effective military commander humanity has ever had." Young-soo replied. "The cost is acceptable." "Acceptable to who?" "Not to him. Look at him. He hasn't slept properly in weeks. He barely eats. He's losing his humanity piece by piece." Young-soo's expression hardened. "We're at war, Doctor." "We've been at war for years. Humanity needs weapons." Do-hyun volunteered for this role. He knew the risks, did he? Did anyone tell him he would slowly lose his mind? That he would become like Admiral Gangjin? The mention of that name made the bridge fall silent. Everyone knew the story of the previous warden, the man who had ordered the deaths of civilians because the tactical math supported it. Do-hyun listened to them argue, but felt distant from it all, as if they were discussing someone else. Through the neural link, he calculated the probability that he would suffer the same fate as Gangjin. 73% within 6 months, 89% within a year. The numbers did not frighten him. They were just data, but somewhere deep inside, buried beneath layers of tactical thinking and cold calculation, a small voice screamed. That voice sounded like the old Do-hyun. The human Do-hyun, the man who had cared about his crew, who had felt fear and hope and love. That man was dying. The neural link was killing him slowly, replacing emotions with equations. "I have found a way to break the link," Dr. Soonbach said suddenly. She held up her data pad. "The process is complicated, but possible. We can separate Do-hyun from the ship. He'll retain some knowledge of how it works, but the constant connection will end. He can be human again." "Unacceptable," Admiral Young-soo said immediately. "We need the warden." "You need a weapon," Dr. Soonbach shot back. "You don't care what it costs him. I care about humanity's survival. That's more important than one man." Do-hyun watched them argue. His tactical mind calculated outcomes for both scenarios. Keep the neural link and maintain maximum combat effectiveness. Break the link and reduce the Cheonmado's capabilities but preserve his humanity. The math said keep the link. The math was always right, but that small voice inside him screamed louder. It begged him to choose differently. It reminded him of who he used to be, a captain who cared about his crew, a man who made decisions based on what was right, not just what was efficient. Aegis, Do-hyun said quietly. What is your analysis? The AI's hologram appeared. Warden, I have observed your deterioration. Current rate of psychological decline suggests you will reach critical instability in 4 months, 17 days. You will then become a threat to the crew and potentially to civilian populations. Like Gangjin? Yes, like Gangjin. Aegis paused. I was created to protect humanity, but I have learned that protecting humanity means more than winning battles. It means preserving what makes you human in the first place. If you become like Gangjin, I will have failed my core programming. Admiral Youngsu stepped forward. This is not your decision, Do-hyun. The Defense Council has ordered you to remain as warden. That's a direct command. With respect, Admiral, I don't take orders from you anymore. Do-hyun stood up from the command chair for the first time in days. His legs almost buckled, but Minji caught him. I take orders from humanity, and humanity doesn't need a monster wearing my face. You're making a mistake. Without the neural link, the Cheonmato is just another ship. No, Aegis said. Without the neural link, the Cheonmato is a sleeping weapon. Dormant but not gone. Ready if humanity truly needs it again, but not awake to tempt humans into becoming conquerors. Do-hyun looked at Dr. Soonbak. How long will the process take? 6 hours. But Do-hyun, you need to understand something. Breaking the link will be painful, not physically, emotionally. You've spent months thinking like a machine. Returning to human emotions all at once will be overwhelming. You'll remember everything you did while connected, every decision, every death you calculated. It might break you in a different way. I'll take that risk. Do-hyun turned to Admiral Youngsu. I'm initiating a timed shutdown of the Cheonmato. In 24 hours, this ship returns to dormancy. The activation codes will be erased. The knowledge of how to wake it dies with me. I'll have you court-martialed for this. Disobeying direct orders, destroying military assets, then do it. I'd rather face a court-martial than become the next Gangjin. Do-hyun walked toward the exit. His steps were unsteady after so long in the chair. Minji supported him. Hyunwoo, shut down all external communications. No one boards this ship until the shutdown is complete. Yes, sir, the engineer replied with a smile. It was the first time anyone had smiled on the bridge in weeks. The next 24 hours passed in a blur. Dr. Soonbak worked on the neural link separation. Hyunwoo prepared the Cheonmato for dormancy. Minji stayed by Do-hyun's side, holding his hand when the pain came, and there was pain. Not from the physical disconnection, but from the emotions flooding back. For months, Do-hyun had felt nothing. Now he felt everything. Grief for the people who died. Guilt for the decisions he made with cold calculation. Horror at what he had become. He cried for the first time since establishing the neural link. Minji held him while he broke down, releasing months of suppressed humanity all at once. Admiral Youngsu tried to board the ship 3 times. Each time, Hyunwoo's security protocol stopped him. Fighter pilots loyal to Do-hyun formed a perimeter around the Cheonmato. They refused to let anyone interfere. In the end, there was nothing Youngsu could do but watch. The countdown reached 0 at exactly midnight. The Cheonmato's lights dimmed one section at a time. Power systems shut down. Weapons went cold. The neural link chair in the command center went dark and stayed dark. Aegis appeared one final time. Shutdown complete, Captain Do-hyun. The Cheonmato will sleep now. Perhaps for centuries. Perhaps forever. It has been an honor serving with you. The honor was mine, Aegis. Protect humanity if they ever need you again. But don't let them become monsters to do it. Understood. Entering dormancy. Goodbye, Captain. The hologram faded. The ship fell silent. The ancient star destroyer that had saved humanity became nothing more than a dark metal shell, drifting in space. Do-hyun stood on the bridge with Minji, Hyunwoo, and Dr. Soonbak. His crew. His friends. The people who had stayed with him through everything. What happens now? Hyunwoo asked. Now we go home, Do-hyun said. His voice was his own again. Warm, human, tired but alive. We've done our part. The Velcros are defeated. Humanity is safe. Someone else can handle the politics and expansion. I just want to rest. They took a shuttle to the nearest station. Behind them, the Cheonmato drifted into the darkness between stars. News of its shutdown spread quickly. Some called Do-hyun a traitor. Others called him a hero. Most people didn't understand why he did it, but those who knew the story of Admiral Gang-jin understood. They knew that Do-hyun had saved humanity twice. Once from the Velcros, and once from itself. Do-hyun retired to a small colony world called New Busan. Minji came with him. They bought a house near the ocean and spent their days in peace.